10 seconds. Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Rotoworld Fantasy Basketball Q&A. I'm Raphielle Johnson, joined as always by Noah Rubin. We're not going to talk about the football game, but we will talk about your Atlanta Hawks. The performances by Jalen Johnson and Onyeka Okongwu last night. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to talk about football, but yes, goodness, that was so much fun to watch. It made, having the football game here and the basketball game here, I guess, my eyes were much more enjoyed by or pleased by the basketball game. Jalen Johnson, 31 points, career high, 18 rebounds, career high, 14 assists, career high, 7 steals, career high. Just a insane performance. He's been playing out of his mind since Trae Young went down, really all season. And then Okongwu, I was like, there's a couple shots that he missed, I guess kind of in the third quarter, where I was like, hey, he's kind of like taking some of these like pretty quickly, like pretty in rhythm, which I guess is cool. But I'm like, I like it better when he's wide open shooting threes. Yeah. And then I like look back up and like, wait, what do you mean that's his 7th that he's hit? Like that's absolutely. And so seeing him hit 8 threes, like that's why the Hawks brought in Kristaps Porzingis was, hey, let's have a stretch 5 play with Trae Young. And to see Okongwu do that and still be as effective as he is on defense, finishing as a rebounder, it's a lot of fun. I've been high on Okongwu in dynasty leagues. Yeah. I think his ceiling is raised by the fact that he could be like a high volume elite 3-point shooter. Like that's a thing that can happen for him.
Yeah. And then plus even with the Porzingis addition, there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to avoid like an extended absence at some point. You wish it weren't that way, but that's something else to consider. But yeah, definitely dynasty leagues. And even I think a lot of us, yourself included, thought that he still had redraft league value. So, if more performances like this, even on like a lesser scale, that would be great.
We're thinking first All-Star appearance is past this. Like that's happening.
For Jalen, or are you talking about Okongwu?
For Jalen Johnson, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
For Okongwu, no, you're right. That's not a first All-Star appearance. Jalen Johnson, first All-Star appearance. Go ahead and lock it in. Okongwu, hey, we're really having fun out here. It's not an All-Star, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's good.
Gotta have myself there.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get into the questions right now. Jiggy is back. Welcome back. And he's got a question for us. Fears of Tobias Harris, rest of the season 9-cat head-to-head. And he was also offered his Dante DiVincenzo for the other person's DeAndre Hunter. What are our thoughts on those two items?
Ooh. My initial reaction was definitely keep Dante, but now I don't feel quite as confident in that. Like I still think I would, but maybe you do take Hunter. I feel like I'd rather have Jeremiah Fears than Tobias Harris. I feel pretty confident in that rest of the season, especially. The Dante DiVincenzo, DeAndre Hunter one's interesting because Dante DiVincenzo last few games has struggled. Was better with Anthony Edwards out, but now Edwards is back. Both are going to be pretty consistent starters. Now Darius Garland's missing time, so DeAndre Hunter is just really important on offense. I may actually do that and take Hunter.
Oh man,
it's closer than I thought it was when I initially saw it.
Yeah. If you asked this question before the season started, even with Garland out, I would have gone Dante easily. I still go Dante now, but as Noah noted, it is a bit closer. In terms of the other question, I think I would actually go Tobias Harris, and the reason why is 9-cat, and I feel like he may be a bit underrated from a fantasy standpoint. He's not the sexiest guy. He's not going to get you like a chance at top 30 value, but you kind of feel safe like 50 to 75 range. And I think that's what I would bet on in this spot. Jeremiah Fears, he should play plenty. I think there's just so much going on around him that I don't know if I can fully trust him in 9-cat head-to-head for the rest of the season in this particular question. Now, put up some other options, I'd probably be more inclined to hold on to him, but I think I'd go with Tobias Harris in this one. All right, pop a cold one. Happy Friday to you as well. 12-team non-cat head-to-head. Giddy, Cade, Kawhi, and Osar Thompson out. Who to drop out of the following as the studs get healthy? Moody, Brandon Williams, Herter, Ace, Filipowski, PJ Washington, Santi Aldama.
It's a lot of options. Let me I don't I'm gonna go ahead and say don't drop Ace. Feel pretty good about that. Wouldn't drop Brandon Williams. I feel like I'd probably hold PJ Washington right now.
Mm-hmm.
Filipowski's interesting. He could be Moody or Santi Aldama. Let me see, because the rotations in Golden State are just very inconsistent. Moody's production's been pretty inconsistent. I know Steve Kerr said he's gonna move forward with this starting lineup, but literally he's done that 10 times over the last 2 years and switches his starting lineup 2 games after. So maybe it's not Moody just for right now. Is it Santi Aldama? I feel like I haven't even really kept up with how much he's been doing this year, or I'm missing something. He's been solid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I just went through all the options without a definitive answer. What do you think?
I would drop Filipowski for one. I feel like he's if you ask this question after the trade deadline, I would say no, I'm not going to drop him just because those final 2 months, I think he's going to have major opportunities, depending on who they move or if anything in Utah. But right now, he would be one that I would drop. I think Santi might be the other one in terms of the two that I would be willing to drop right now. He's playing consistent minutes, but the production isn't such that I would hold on to him in a 12-team.
Yeah, and I think with Filipowski, I guess if Josh Giddey, actually, is Cade out? I think he's questionable tonight. I think Josh Giddey's questionable. Asar is still out, I think. I remember blurbing that. Yeah, he's still out. So it's short-term absences, and it may not even end up being one. So, that's the question though. As the studs get healthy, not with them out.
Yeah.
So Filipowski. Sorry, I'm running slow this morning or afternoon. See,
it's Friday.
Filipowski. Yeah. Filipowski, and I'll agree with you, Santi Aldama, and then next up would probably be Moses Moody or PJ Washington for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evelyn, welcome back. Is Scoot still worth stashing an IL and a 12-teamer? And let's see, let's go to the second part here. She wants to use his spot to put Brunson and pick up Fears or Brandon Williams. I'll put Brunson on IL, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really seen, there hasn't been an update on Scoot.
He's out today. Scoot? Yeah. I want to say he's due for an update pretty soon, but let's go ahead and look that up and see.
My initial thought is, I don't know. I'd love your take on how long you think Brunson could be out, because was it Mike Brown was just kind of he just rolled it, but he was on crutches and in a boot. So what does that say to you as the Knicks fan that's probably more in tune with some of the phrasing and terminology?
That's the tricky thing. He's not – it's Mike Brown. Maybe he's gotten a little too locked into the Knicks speak already in terms of being a bit veiled in the information provided. But
yeah,
it was the right ankle that Brunson injured last year too. Now, thankfully, this is a grade 1 instead of the one he suffered against the Lakers in the spring, where he missed a significant amount of time for that. I think – because I don't want to get on here and give out definitive numbers, because I have
for sure.
But let's see, they got Miami Friday and then Monday, and then that's the first game of a road trip, 5-game road trip. So, man, I don't know. He's definitely out tonight. I think he might miss a couple games. I look forward to a 3-game week next week, so maybe you get to stash him on the IL for that entire week, and then the first game of the following week is at Brooklyn, so you conceivably have time to work out, and kind of rehab at home if he doesn't make the trip. I think that's going to be the key. Does he travel to Miami for Monday's game? If he doesn't, then we may be looking at more than just the one game, maybe like 3 or 4 until they get back from Brooklyn. So that's what I would think about him. Scoot worth stashing? I think that's the question. I don't think he is. I think he's someone that a lot of us think has to take a step forward this year, but there's not enough prior evidence to say that he's capable of doing it. So I think you could probably drop him in a 12 team personally.
Yeah, I think, and honestly, it could be for Fears or Brandon Williams because like both of those guys are starting. I'd probably prefer Fears just because I feel more confident he's going to start rest of season than Brandon Williams. But what's this? Like Drew Holiday is starting, and the Blazers are playing pretty well. I don't think this Scoot could be a reserve again this year. So you're talking about picking up 2 starting point guards. So yeah, I think that in this scenario, there's no reason to prioritize Scoot on the IL over some of these guys that are starting and producing right now.
Plus, in Portland, you got an interim coach who may be looking to win the job himself. So that may factor into how he handles Scoot once he's healthy enough to play as well. All right. Papa Colvin, with the Bradley Beal news, are there any fringe Clippers worth more than streaming right now? Like Lissoff, Dunn, Bogdanovich, Derek Jones Jr., Jordan Miller, Collins being the big winner. Well, I don't know if I'd classify him as a big winner. He may start. Yeah. But I don't know if his production is going to be such that he comes out as a big winner. I'd probably roll the dice on Derek Jones Jr. out of any of these guys, given what he's shown throughout the year so far.
I prefer Bogdanovich. He's basically been alternating games played with Bradley Beal. The last 3 games he's played in are games that Bradley Beal missed. During those, playing 30 minutes, 28 minutes, and just 20 in this last one, but averaging 11.3 points, 3.3 boards, 5 assists, 2.3 threes during those. So I think he's going to do the most to fill the void. Like Chris Dunn will still start. Like he's better for steals. John Collins is starting in place of Bradley Beal, and assuming that because he's been okay. Well,
there's also you got the Kawhi factor too. So
true. So I guess that's a whole other thing. Like who actually is going to be the? I like Bogey. I think he's a nice fill in there, and I think he's going to play minutes regardless. Tyronn Lue did say a lot of those younger guys are going to get minutes, like Jordan Miller, Cam Christie, Kobe Sanders, and Kobe Brown. There's 2 Kobes. But I like Cam Christie. I just don't think that there's going to be enough minutes for all of them to hold 12-team redraft value.
Won't be Chris Paul, I'll tell you that much.
No.
All right. Jiggy would like for us to rank rest of the season value: Andre Drummond, Nurkic, Max Christie, Russell Westbrook, Brandon Williams. Yeah, Brandon Williams, the other one.
Oh. Gosh. Okay, so we'll just start assigning value before I rank. Drummond's solid until Joel Embiid is back. There's nothing to indicate that this is going to be a lengthy absence for Joel Embiid, but things change, obviously. Nurk feels like he's going to be a starting center for the next little less than 3 months until the trade deadline, and then I assume things change drastically, whether that be he gets traded somewhere else and as a reserve or they just stop playing him. Max Christie, I feel like, has a good chance to start rest of the season, but they've been switching up lineups there in Dallas, which is iffy. Doug Christie already said that he's basically going to switch up the starting lineup after they lost 4 games in a row at home, and the last one was a blowout. So I think Russell Westbrook's still going to play a lot regardless. And then Brandon Williams is starting right now. So and I feel like if he continues to play well, he will continue to start. I'm going to say Brandon Williams is actually who I'm going to rank first here, as terms of rest of season value. I think there's a very real chance that with Nico Harrison gone, they look to trade Kyrie and Anthony Davis, or they just don't have Kyrie Irving come back this season and trade him in the offseason and try and get a good lottery pick. And I think that Brandon Williams could be in line with that.
Yeah, it's plausible. It's their last pick they have control of until 2030. So, yeah.
And if you're going to go around Cooper Flag, and you have a chance to get a top 3 pick in this class, you'll figure something out.
You got to go for it. Yeah. I think that's a fair point. So I was going to go Westbrook first, just because Dennis Schroeder's really struggled. But you make a good point about Brandon Williams. I'll go Westbrook 1, Williams 2, Drummond 3, because while the Embiid injury doesn't seem to be too serious in terms of an extended absence, I don't know if we can trust him from a lower body standpoint at this point. It's pretty sad to say that, but it's kind of where we are. Fourth, I would go Max Christie, but I think he's someone who could possibly move up just because of the reasons you mentioned earlier. And then fifth, I'll go Nurkic. Valuable right now, but if you have him, you're kind of rooting for him to get moved around the trade deadline, because if he's on that team at that point, you're looking at a pretty rough loss in terms of value, because I don't know if he's going to play that much after the trade deadline unless they shock the world or are actually contending for a playoff spot at that point. But I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Daniel, I hope your Friday is going well also. No complaints on my end. How about you, Noah?
Yeah, going pretty well.
All right. And he would like to know, dynasty question, Noah Clowney or Kyle Filipowski?
I think Noah Clowney's done a good bit to redeem his dynasty value a little bit this year. I still would lean Kyle Filipowski at this point, though.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I would agree with that, because even though Clowney's playing more right now, I have my questions about, Brooklyn's not really trying to win. They want the best draft pick possible, but I don't know what that's going to look like. I think we've seen some ideas of what it could look like in Utah in terms of how guys are going to be used. Like, is Clowney just going to be a pick and pop 4/5, or are they going to let him do a little bit more offensively? I think that's the big question for him there. So I think I would go Filipowski as well for this question.
Yeah, I think with Clowney, it looked like he was, when he was first playing pretty well as a rookie, he was going to be this stretch 5 that was an elite shot blocker. And he's been better this year, but kind of fizzled out a little bit. I just feel like, I don't know. I prefer Filipowski at this point.
Yeah. All right. Rizzy McGuire, dynasty trade. Traded Josh Hart for Khalil Ware. How'd I do?
Fantastic. Great deal. Great trade.
I mean, if you didn't have to attach like a draft pick to this, I think that's a steal, because Ware's ceiling is considerably higher than Hart's. So to get that deal done straight up, good job on your part.
Yeah, if that's a 1-for-1 deal, it's a great trade.
Yeah. Okay. Air Dunks would like to know, should I trade Mark Williams for Stephon Castle? Head-to-head 8-cat, looking to reduce risk and add assist, or is that too much to give up?
I think that's actually a pretty good deal. I think you did exactly what you said you wanted to do. 8-cat definitely helps Castle out, because those turnover numbers were horrendous to start the year. And 3 games with De'Aaron Fox back. Castle has a double-double in all of them and had a triple-double in that last game too. So, and the turnovers have actually been better.
Yeah.
So, I think that was a fine trade.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. As Noah mentioned, the turnovers have come down, and I'm positively surprised by how much he's had the ball in his hands since Fox returned. Yeah. So that's a really good sign for him moving forward. So you pull that deal off, definitely do it.
Yeah, I think that it is. Like with Castle, it was like, I just felt like it was such there was a clock on how effective he was going to be.
Yeah.
This has been so surprising, and it's really good for him. So
yeah,
I was definitely too low on him preseason. So
yeah. Okay. In order to pick up Jeremiah Fears, drop DeAndre Hunter, Brooks, or Clowney to pick him up? Dylan Brooks. Yeah. Same league.
I'd probably drop Clowney. Dylan Brooks has been playing out of his mind, and I don't think that'll hold, but I think he's playing too well to drop. DeAndre Hunter's been solid till Garland's back, I think. Like, he's just too important on offense.
Yeah.
Clowney's had a couple good games, but the production's been kind of inconsistent. So, yeah, I'd probably drop him to pick up Fears.
Yeah, I think Clowney's the one I would go ahead and drop as well. We'll see what happens whenever Cam Thomas is healthy enough to return. Obviously not the same position, but that would kind of impact the minutes across the board. But, yeah, Clowney would be the one that I would drop as well in this scenario. All right. Jiggy would like to know, is it time to pick up injured players? Kevin Porter Jr., Scoot, Jaden Ivey, Jordan Poole, 16-team head-to-head 9-cat. And it looks like Max Christie, Ace Bailey, Jalen Suggs. Potential drops are just kind of hold on for now.
I don't dang, 16 teams and those guys are available and you're rostering those guys and those are your worst. But I feel like you have a good roster. Just because I think that, if you ask me this in a 12-team league, I think it would make sense. So having these as your worst players in a 16-team league sounds like you have a good roster.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to drop any of these guys, but I think among those four, I'd probably prioritize Poole, maybe Jaden Ivey, but I just is Jaden Ivey going to start, or is he going to kind of have some sort of minutes limit? One, just as he gets reacclimated, but they've been playing so well without him. If he starts to not play super well or impact winning, does he just have a smaller role? So I'd probably prioritize Jordan Poole. I wouldn't drop Ace Bailey and I wouldn't drop Suggs. So I guess I would drop Max Christie to pick up Poole, but I don't feel great about dropping Max Christie.
I think I'd sit tight for now. The size of the league, I think you can kind of afford to wait and see how things play out. I pulled up Orlando's schedule because just to check back-to-backs.
Yeah.
They've got one November 22nd and 23rd, and then their next one will be the 22nd and 23rd, and then the 26th and 27th of December. So you should be able to get a pretty good run of games there from Suggs, because I think that's something you have to consider when assessing whether or not to hold on to him. I would definitely hold on to all three of those guys. I think they're all playing good minutes and giving you relatively solid value right now. Just wait and see what happens with those guys, because Ivy, I think he would probably be on a minutes restriction. I mean, he broke his leg. That's not a standard ligament tear or anything. So I kind of feel like they're going to have to manage his minutes to a certain extent. Scoot, extended absence. Kevin Porter Jr., knee. Scoot with the hamstring. Those are injuries that you don't really want to rush back from either. So I would sit tight, see how things play out. If you can get an idea of what their respective rotations are going to look like, then you can make a move then. But I think for now, I would sit tight.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, James would like to know. I think we already talked Clippers a little earlier, but Beal's season-ending injury, and he's in a Roto league. Who would you kind of prioritize? You still on Bogey?
Yeah, I'd roll with Bogey. I think he's been good when Beal hasn't played. They need his floor spacing. So
yeah, Roto's a bit different. I think category was what we discussed earlier, so that's why I went with Jones in that one. Roto, I think I would probably go Bogdanovich as well. So not really great options on that roster, but
no,
if you have to pick one. All right, my friend proposed me a trade. Banchero and Alsar for my Brunson and Jaren Jackson Jr. What do you guys think?
I don't think I want to do that. I mean, Asar hasn't been as good as I was expecting. I think a lot of people were expecting, but there's still time. He's just been hurt. And he was actually starting to get things going before he got hurt. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been a little disappointing. Brunson's hurt. Banchero's hurt. And neither has really had much of a timeline. So It's kind of a strange trade here. I guess the other factor is this a points league or is it a category league? I think I would lean towards staying put and keeping Jalen Brunson and Jaren Jackson, though.
Yeah. So we talked about Brunson's injury earlier. I don't think he'll be out for too long. You never know, but yeah, I don't think I would make this trade. Yeah, I would hold on to Brunson.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Wemby. 9-Cat. He's trying to get Denny Avdia. Good plan. He's got Rollins, Harden, Giddey, Daniels, Eason, Grimes, Keyshawn George, Ace Bailey, Miles Turner, Porzingis, Cockburn, and Buzelis. Thinking 2 for 1. Daniels and Keyshawn or Keyshawn and Porzingis in exchange for Avdia.
Yeah, if you're able to trade Dyson Daniels and Keyshawn George for Denny Avdia, I think I'd do that. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of all three of those guys, but Dyson's offense has been pretty bad this year.
Yeah.
And it got better with Trae Young out, but it's even the last couple games just hasn't been great. Like the assists have been pretty good. But his last game was really, really bad. The scoring had a couple good games, but it's been back to being pretty rough. Trae Young should be back in a few weeks. I think if you're able to trade Dyson and Keyshawn George for Denny Avdia, you have to do that.
Yeah, Dyson somehow only took 2 shots last night.
He did get I think he was in a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, it was some foul trouble, but still,
it's like, why are you only taking 2 shots? Or it's like, you're only taking 2 shots and just everyone's so okay with it because you're just not scoring as effectively as everyone else out there. So they're like, 2 shots, cool. Just keep playing defense, bud. So yeah, I think I would be looking to trade Dyson and Keyshawn for Denny Avdia and feel pretty confident about that.
I wish he had a little more Dylan Brooks in him. It's like, I'm defending, I get to take these shots. Not to that level. Yeah.
Just an ounce.
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little. Not like full-on Dylan Brooks. He takes some questionable shots.
But, hey, when it's like last night, it works really well.
Agreed. Okay, Cade Cunningham is still questionable. So we don't know yet. That's all I got for you. Man.
Yep, he could.
Right. Cam Johnson was dropped in 190 deep, 9-Cat head-to-head keepers. Should I drop Herb Jones for him or no?
I think it's time we just got to kind of like pivot. I know we've been trying to say just be patient with Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of ready to not be patient anymore with him. I'm still pretty confident he's going to figure out something at some point. But at this, I think I'd be more hesitant to drop him than I would be confident in going and picking him up, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't drop Herb Jones for him. But if I had Cam Johnson, I don't know. Maybe I'd drop him. Maybe I wouldn't. I feel pretty less confident in that, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't make this move. I think you're going to want to see some evidence that Cam Johnson's starting to turn things around offensively before you make a move for him. So, yeah, I would not do this. It's one of those things where it's like there's a reason why he's on the waiver wire at this point, unfortunately. Okay. Jeremiah Fears or Jaeger Dioman? Head-to-head ACAT.
Pretty easily Jeremiah Fears for me.
Yeah, Dioman's had some moments, but I think Fears clears him at this stage. All right. Is Kyle Filipowski worth holding on to, even with Nurkic as a starting center, or should I drop him for Bogdan Bogdanovic?
I think I would be fine dropping him for Bogey. I think Bogey is going to be good with Beal out, and I think Filipowski could have some really nice value in February, March, and April. And if you're able to stash him and confidently just be patient there, then do it. But yeah, I would be fine to drop him.
I agree with that. Especially, mid-November, I think you can get away with this. A couple months, you're probably going to want Filipowski back on your roster. But right now, I think it's fair. Okay, and I guess he can also do this with Filipowski. Jarris Walker worth picking up because of the Neesmith injury.
Jarris Walker's been so disappointing. I was very confident in him a couple weeks ago because I still think he's a talented player and was like, yeah, he's going to get an opportunity. There's so many injuries. He just has to play. And then despite all these injuries, they still were fine moving him back to the bench.
Yeah.
I just he's gotten the opportunity and hasn't taken advantage of it. So I wouldn't be actively looking to drop anyone for him.
Yeah, he's not even shooting 30% from the field this year.
It's bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're going to drop Filipowski for either of these guys you mentioned, it would be Bogdanovich. Okay. Daniel has a 9-cat rankings request. Isaiah Collier, Colin Gillespie, Trey Jones, and TJ McConnell.
I think they're in order. I think that's a good order right there. Yep. I think Gillespie's a little iffier just because, like, with Jalen Green and Grayson Allen out, he should start. I feel like Collier, I feel pretty confident in him playing a lot / starting. Trey Jones, I really think that there's some sort of timeline, like ticking clock on him having value. I think I saw just before we started that Kobe White and Josh Giddey both practiced today. So if they're both healthy, Trey Jones is, I think, like most of his value is pretty shot as a reserve. Rest of the season is tough because Kobe White or Josh Giddey suffers a longer-term injury or just aggravates an injury. Then Trey Jones goes back to being a starter and his value pops. But this is basically 4 guys that could be really, really good if there's an injury in front of them, but are really limited if there's not. So it's kind of tough.
I think I would go Collier, McConnell, Gillespie, and Jones for my 4.
Okay.
I would go TJ a bit higher just because of, obviously he's part of this, but all the injuries in Indiana. His minutes will increase as he continues to get his legs under him after his return. So I would go with him second. I think Collier's probably the safest of these guys in terms of the minutes. Even if he doesn't start, he'll get good minutes off the bench. So he would be my first option of these 4 here.
I feel like I'm just lower on McConnell's upside than everyone else. Like, I know how effective he can be in limited minutes.
Yeah.
I just don't see him getting 30 minutes or 25 minutes super consistently, especially because Nembhard is healthy now. And then there's also this thing where they're just not winning games, and he could absolutely be a shutdown candidate in February. So there's just too much risk there and not enough guarantee. Like, I don't think McConnell's like this safe option that's just guaranteed to play a ton of minutes and produce a ton that I think a lot of people are maybe expecting him to be.
Yeah. For me, it's more about the floor than the ceiling. Like, I don't really care for the ceiling for Gillespie or Jones either, but I think
that's fair.
I think McConnell's floor is a little safer.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah. not a high ceiling list there.
Yeah. All right. It's like the Kyle Filipowski show today, but is he a hold or is it too soon?
Sorry, I was just reading through a couple other questions. Looks like Kingy's up for this one, so that's funny.
Yes.
I don't like. I think I said this with a previous one. Like, I don't think he's a must hold. I think it's pretty situational. But like, with would I drop him to pick up Jarris Walker? No. Would I drop him to pick up Bogdan Bogdanovic? Yeah. So like, it's pretty situational. I think probably more often than not, I'd be fine to drop him, but it kind of depends on who I'm picking back up.
Yeah. All right. Is Atlanta somehow better with no Trae Young?
All right. We only got 25 minutes left. So if you want to hit, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to take that long. So the defense is obviously better.
Yeah.
Like, small sample size, but month of November, they had the second best defensive rating in the league behind the Thunder. The offense is, I think, 16th. So not great. I think that the Hawks are better offensively with Trae Young, but not as good defensively. That's kind of been the case for most of his career. But the difference now is that they're like competent offensively, when in the past they'd been just terrible offensively when he wasn't out there, to the point where I think the offense he brings to the table doesn't necessarily offset the defensive weakness anymore, like maybe it did in the past. I think that there's like, to me, this feels like the most likely he has been to be traded in his entire career.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't feel like oh gosh, like they're not winning, maybe he's going to get upset and ask out like the Hawks. It feels like, ooh, this team is winning without him, and they're actually doing much better than they were without him. And Jalen Johnson is breaking out, and they have this first-round pick from New Orleans. And yeah, like he doesn't feel like this super necessary piece to them. Yeah. Now, I think the thing that comes along with that is Trae Young's, he raises the team's ceiling. I think that they probably cap out with this current roster. Best case scenario is maybe a second round appearance. But I think with a player that can get hot like Trae Young and that can take over games offensively like Trae Young, like their ceiling raises. But the floor also lowers with him, because when he's turning the ball over or taking bad shots, which he does, the team can really struggle, and it takes everybody out of rhythm offensively. Obviously, he's not known for his defense. So I don't know. That's a lot to say. They like not much, but they can be just like, they can be really good without him. And I think that hasn't been the thing throughout his career. So hopefully the Pelicans will continue to lose games. The Hawks can win the lottery, get Darren Peterson, and then it won't be an issue.
Would it be fair to say that he offers a wider range of possible results when he's on the floor?
The widest range. Yeah. It could be anywhere from the worst shooting performance you've ever seen, or, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's this hot and the offense is clicking like this. Because he's like, I don't want to like, I'm not trying to turn this into like a Hawks rant show, but like, I don't want to just sit here and just hate on Trae Young, because he's genuinely, like, when he's at his best, he's one of the best offensive players in the league, which just hasn't really been there consistently for the last 5 years.
Okay. Got another dynasty question. What are your thoughts on Taylor Hendricks' value moving forward? It's been a quiet return for him this season.
Yeah, I was expecting more from him. Obviously, he's missed a little bit of time recently, but yeah, before that, it was very, very rough. I still think he's a really, really good defender, but the offense has been just as bad as it was to start last season. So definitely seeing his dynasty value move in the wrong direction, but still a small sample size. I don't like to drastically alter my opinion of a player's in dynasty leagues just within, I mean, we're less than a month into the season, which feels crazy to say, but it's probably too early to change too much.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, I thought he was going to be a starter, just because that's where he was before the leg injury. But like you mentioned, he really hasn't done much offensively to warrant that. And they seem pretty comfortable with Svi Mikhailiuk starting at the 3. So
yeah,
until that changes, the short-term value really isn't going to change for Taylor Hendricks. But
yeah,
I don't know. They just have a lot of different 3/4 guys that they kind of they can play. So someone's going to lose out when everyone's healthy. Thus far, it's been him, I think. So, okay, more likely to be traded first, Ja Morant or Anthony Davis?
I think it's pretty easily Anthony Davis to me. Even if Ja wants out, there might be a couple teams interested, but who's going to want to part with a ton of value for Ja Morant at this, in this current state of Ja Morant and the Grizzlies? Like, I don't think somebody's going to want to part with a ton. And that feels a little bit more, I don't know, like something that maybe gets worked out in the off season or some other move happens. I'm not sure. But Anthony Davis, it's like, okay, like Nico Harrison, the guy that brought you in, is now gone. So somebody's here to build this thing long term. There's no more, hey, we have to win a championship to prove that we were right about the Luka trade. Like, it's okay, we made a mistake. We let a guy make a mistake. Let's try and fix this thing. So trading Anthony Davis feels pretty almost likely at this point. It's just about ensuring that he's healthy and that a team is going to give you enough assets for it to make sense.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot for Memphis to pull the plug on John Morant. Davis, if they can find a market for him, I think it's a case where you try to strike while the iron certainly isn't hot, but if they get a decent offer, they really have to strongly consider it. Just because not only his injury history and the potential of getting a high draft pick in 26 if you play poorly and go back into the lottery, he's going to make like 58.5 next year. Then he has a player option for about 63 million the following year. And if you're Dallas, I don't think whatever you can do to get that money off your books, I think you kind of have to do it at this point. So I think they're going to be more inclined to try to make something happen than Memphis at this stage. Okay, please rank these players the rest of the season. Bobby Portis, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Tyson, and Noah Clowney.
Is Isaiah Stewart one here? I think he's been really good with Tobias Harris out. Mm-hmm. Maybe the rest of the season part is changing this up a lot for me because I really like what Jalen Tyson has been able to do with certain opportunities, but until there's a more definitive timeline on Darius Garland, that's kind of iffy. Bobby Portis has been entirely uninspiring this season, unless I'm missing a big performance, but it's probably, to me, Stewart, Tyson, Clowney, Portis. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no arguments here. Okay. Any chance Keon Ellis starts soon based on Doug Christie's comment?
I think if there is a player that's going to move into the starting lineup after those comments, like Keon Ellis feels like the most likely player. I'm really interested to see how crazy he gets with this. Mm-hmm. Is like this just about, hey, we're going to make one or two changes and everybody else just kind of like realize that you could be benched if you don't fix things, but we're not actually going to bench DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis. We pay them too much money. Or is this like, I'm head coach of this team. I'm like, we are going to play basketball a certain way. I don't care how much money you make. And I'm making a statement here and we're benching the players that are making a lot of money. And I'm really intrigued. I think Keon Ellis is the player that is going to start, but I'm interested to see who else could start.
Yeah. It's the Kings, man. Like who knows? You know, you're still waiting for Keegan Murray to get back. That's going to be a factor as well. But
yeah,
in terms of what they have right now, I think it definitely is a possibility. Like with the roster they have, they can't afford to wait much longer if they're going to make some changes to that lineup. Because I think, what are they, 3-8?
Something like that.
Let me see. Yeah, they're 3-9 actually, and they play at Minnesota tonight. So we could be talking about a 3-10 team going into the weekend. And as wild as the West is, that's going to be really difficult ground to make up. So I wouldn't be shocked if anyone made a change. I think Nick Clifford's too young for that type of role right now, but Keon Ellis should definitely be on the table as a possible starter in the near future. Okay. Risa Shea shot 5 for 7 from the field and played 19 minutes last night. Is a limited run due to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, coaching preference, or other variables?
It's just been a Quinn Snyder thing. I mean, like, that's the only head coach Risa Shea's had in the NBA. So that's maybe that sounds unfair to say, like, he had a different coach who's playing him more. But he's had this, like, strangely short leash where they have no problem playing him fewer minutes than typical starters or than the rest of the starters. So it's hard to say. Sometimes he gets 30 plus minutes. Sometimes he's around 20. Sometimes he's in the middle. It's kind of random, makes it frustrating from a fantasy perspective.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have much to add to that. You know, young player, they're going to take their time with him, and it feels like at times the accountability scale may be a little bit larger for him than some other players, but you know, this is what it is. All right, Kingy has chimed in. Noah, as a Hawks fan with a fresh haircut, do you think there's a case to be made for the Hawks being better without Trey? I think we answered this earlier.
We did, but I also now have some contentions. I think it's been a week and a half. I don't think that this is a fresh haircut anymore. I think I need to, like, it's like a semi like I don't need a haircut, but I wouldn't qualify this as a fresh haircut anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to give another 10-minute monologue on the Hawks and Trae Young.
All right. Okay. Ryan would like to know, is offered Reeves and Nembhard from Isar and Alsar. What do you think? 12-team ESPN points.
I feel really good about that trade. I think I would rather have Reeves and Nembhard than Sar and Asar. Although having Sar and Asar sounds really fun now. Just like saying the names together.
Yeah.
I think Austin Reeves is the best player in this trade, and I think that Nembhard is better than Asar in points leagues. Especially with all the injuries, like Nembhard has to shoot a lot and score a lot. So yeah, I think I would actually take that deal.
I wouldn't. I'm not trading Sar for anyone.
Okay.
Not those two guys. I think he's played too well, and he's in a situation where you don't have to worry about a late season tank for him. You know, his second year in the league, he's going to play plenty throughout, I think. So,
yeah,
if you could pull off a deal, maybe like Nembhard for Alsar straight up probably wouldn't work. But yeah, I'm not giving up Alex Sar. I'm sorry. Nembhard has a really good ceiling. I think Austin Reeves has been really good throughout, but
yeah,
I'm not giving up Alex Sar.
Interesting. In a points league, I think is probably why I'd lean more towards it than a category league.
Yeah.
But you're right. Sar's been insane. Okay. I would do it, but
yeah,
I think it's okay that we don't agree.
Yeah, I don't. It is absolutely okay. I just don't think that the Sar's floor is anywhere near what it was last season. I think he's been that good thus far where he'll have a relatively safe floor if he doesn't continue on his current path that he's on. So, okay. Who will come back first? He's got Brandon Miller, Tobias Harris, Bilal Coulibaly. Sitting on third place in a 14-team roto, so I can afford to keep all three with one IL spot. But one more injury, I need to drop one.
I think if you end up having to drop one, it's got to be Bilal.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller and Tobias have been good when they're available.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of these guys has like a clear timeline.
Yeah.
For
looks like about I would assume about Thanksgiving for Miller and Tobias.
Yeah.
But that isn't locked in stone. Coulibaly, maybe he's back a little sooner than that, but we don't know that either. But yeah, if you had to drop one of them, it would be Coulibaly for me as well.
Yeah, because the latest blurb we have for Tobias Harris has no timetable for return. I'm pretty sure I saw a report for Coulibaly with no timeline for return.
Yeah.
And Brandon Miller is on the Hornets, so they're not going to provide a timeline for return.
Mm-hmm.
It was initially at least 2 weeks, and that was less than 2 weeks ago. So maybe that's the one we're most optimistic about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Bilal is the easier drop between these three.
Yeah. Okay, what ranked player should we be targeting and selling our Jalen Johnson? Is Cat enough?
I don't think. I mean, I'm not trading Jalen Johnson if I have him.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not doing it.
So I think you'd have to aim high enough to where people are probably going to just tell you no, based off primarily off like name recognition. Like let's pull up the rankings here.
Because ESPN points.
Yeah.
Where Jalen Johnson, I'm using hashtag basketball with their.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is. Wait. Whoa. Now I'm. Oh wait, I see what I'm doing. I don't know how to work this. Never mind. I wouldn't trade Jalen Johnson. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it out as that. Because I don't have a standard ESPN points league.
Yeah.
I have points leagues on ESPN, but not using the standard ESPN scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trade Jalen Johnson.
Let's see, if I offered you Scotty Barnes, what would you say?
I'm trying to. So I personally would say no.
Yeah.
But without any sort of, hey, I really like this player bias, I think that is a very fair, even trade. Where honestly, I may end up taking Scotty Barnes because of the potential return of Trae Young impacting Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm looking to trade Jalen Johnson. But I think Scotty Barnes is actually probably a pretty fair one where it's not like, yeah, sure, I'll trade him for Anthony Edwards or Luka Doncic. And then they're like, okay, well, I'm not doing that. I think Scotty Barnes or even like a Tyrese Maxey is pretty realistic.
Yeah.
But I don't feel super confident. I think it's the ESPN points league thing that I'm like, I need to see these numbers in front of me before I can make an official. Yeah.
If you offered me Tyrese Maxey for Jalen Johnson, I would do that without thinking twice.
Okay.
Like Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. 12-team ESPN points league. Shaden Sharp or Andrew Nembhard?
I think I would take Sharp here. He's been playing really well recently. I was writing just before we did this, my start sit for this weekend, and I had Shaden Sharp as a sit, and then I started looking through his numbers again. I'm like, I don't care that the matchups are really bad for him this weekend. He's just been playing way too well. Wouldn't be, and that's obviously just for specific leagues, but I wouldn't be looking to, drop him or trade him away for a guy like Andrew Nembhard, who's also good. I will say, also good.
Yeah, I would take Sharp in a points league. Okay, who do you think is Neesmith's replacement? 9-Cat. You touched on this a little bit earlier, but I don't know about you, but this feels like a spot where you may be looking at other teams as opposed to the Pacers and looking for like a fantasy replacement. So I'm not really sure anyone really jumps out for me.
That's probably what you're doing. I was like struggling to write blurbs about them last night because nobody was playing super well. Mm-hmm. I would assume, Ben Shepherd took on more minutes. Jarris Walker took on more minutes in Shadow of 10. Like, it's the same thing with Ben Shepherd earlier in the year. We're like, he's going to play the minutes, but he's not a great fantasy option. If he has any sort of value, it's just because he's simply the only player left to play big minutes.
Yeah. Just because you're going to play doesn't mean you're going to do anything with those minutes. So yeah. All right. Is Danish Jenkins a must-grab in 12-team 9-Cat head-to-head if Cade happens to miss significant time this season?
If he misses, this is the tough part. He's not in the midst of a significant absence. Yeah. He's questionable tonight. So Jenkins plays.
It's more hypothetical. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So does this happen when Jaden Ivey's back? Because that basically throws anything for Jenkins out the window, even if he has been really, really good the last 2 games. Would like to see him have a more consistent role and see how the rotation looks with Jaden Ivey's back. Mm-hmm. But if it's a scenario where Jaden Ivey is not back and Cade misses significant time, then I think Jenkins is a player. He's a guy I watched during Summer League and was like really, really impressed by, specifically when he was matched up with Reed Shepherd and made life incredibly difficult for Reed Shepherd and was still scoring and getting assists. So he's a player I really do like. I just don't see a scenario where he's getting a ton of minutes unless, like, if either Cade Cunningham or Jaden Ivey is healthy.
Yeah, that's the Ivy situation is the variable that kind of influences how I would answer this question as well. Marcus Sasser, former first-round pick, he's been out all year with the hip injury, and we don't know when or if he'll be back. So I think if you're in a case where Ivy's either limited in his minutes or not back, and Cade is also out, then Jenkins is definitely worth picking up. But, as Noah kind of alluded to, there are multiple variables here that you have to consider before making that move. And King would like to know, do we think Derek Queen can hold value even when Zion returns?
We almost made it a whole episode without talking about the Pelicans, I think. No, we did talk about Jordan Poole earlier. I lied. And Herb Jones. So we didn't talk about this situation in New Orleans. This is so there's so many different hypotheticals, I think, that kind of will determine this. And we just have to see it before we know, because I think that Derek Queen and Zion can have success on offense playing together. But the defense is going to be really bad. So do they care enough to say, hey, we're sacrificing too much on defense to have Derek Queen and Zion, and, kind of need some floor spacers out there to make this thing work with both of them? So Trey Murphy's obviously going to play, but does Jordan Poole and then maybe someone else that is a really good floor spacer. So we're giving up too much defensively, so we can't play these guys together too often. Zion's the guy we're paying more, and he's one of our best players. So does Derek Queen lose minutes for that? Or do they not care and say, hey, this is really fun offensively and we're scoring points. Sorry, guys, try harder so we don't give up as many points on defense. So I think he can hold a level of value. I don't think he's going to be able to do what he's doing right now.
Yeah. I think he'll hold value. That team isn't going anywhere anytime soon. He's going to have to play. I don't know if he'll approach 38 minutes like he did the other night, but
right.
I think he'll play enough to hold value. All right, we got a couple minutes left. We're going to speed through these final questions here. Khalil Ware for Jaren Jackson Jr. in a points league.
I'd rather have Jaren Jackson.
I think this is the floor versus ceiling argument. Jaren offers a safer floor, but I think Ware offers a bit more of a ceiling. So if you're looking for that home run swing, then I think I would rather have Ware. But if you're just looking for solid production, even with the limited rebounding, more consistent production, I'd say I'd probably go with Jaren Jackson Jr. here as well. All right, are we holding John Collins? I thought he'd be good as a starter.
Points league, I would say you don't have to hold him. If you have him, and unless there's somebody else that you just have to pick up, then I may give him another couple of games because it's only been 2. But I don't think he's a must hold.
Mm-hmm. All right, should I trade Jimmy Butler for Ja Morant or Kawhi in a points league? I need to take risks since I have a bad team.
Maybe for Kawhi. I just feel like I wouldn't be looking to trade for Ja Morant right now just because there's a lot of unknown there. But then Kawhi's health is always somewhat unknown. But the same can kind of be said at times for Jimmy Butler. So I think if you're trying to take a swing, then trading Jimmy Butler for Kawhi is probably the better move.
Yeah. Ja still hasn't had his extended absence yet. That's what I'm concerned about. And that's probably going to happen at some point this year. Hopefully it doesn't, but yeah. All right. Should I trade Scotty Barnes for James Harden? No. I wouldn't do it.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather have Scotty Barnes. Sorry, I did think about that for a second.
Yeah,
who are you getting? Who are you getting in that trade? I'd rather have Scotty Barnes than James Harden.
Okay. Do you think Nick Clifford will have fantasy value when they trade starting 5?
This was your preseason sleeper.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Come on, man. They got to stop this.
Are they going to trade everyone? It's so strange. I think that they have a collection of talented players that just don't fit together. I don't know how much trade value they can get back for everyone, but there has to be at least some amount of trade value. And you already, would you say 3-9? Just go all in on a tank this year, trade everyone. Like, this is the year that if you're going to abandon ship, nobody's going to be mad. Like, nobody's going to say, I can't believe you traded away, like, to try and get a top pick this year, because the top 3 everybody's been talking about, but even the players after them in the lottery, they already all look so freaking good. This is the year. Like, get extra picks, get all the picks.
Agreed. All right. We're going to wrap this one up with Andy, Reed Sheppard, and Anthony Black, or Najee Marshall and Brandon Williams. Reed Sheppard and Black.
I think I agree. Is Brandon Williams the best of this 4 right now?
Right now,
because he's starting.
Right now, sure, but I think overall, I'd rather have Sheppard and Black in this scenario.
Yeah, I think I agree. Paolo being out could open some doors up for Anthony Black as well. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Reed Sheppard and Anthony Black. I think it's close, though. And that's such like a wild 4 players to be in a trade. And yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting.
That's an indictment of the Mavericks, too, that it would be this close. Like, it probably shouldn't be this close, but those guys having to play the minutes that they have.
Yeah. And if PJ, like they said, they're still evaluating him. You know, he's questionable tonight. So, like, I assume it's not a long-term absence, but that could be starts for Najee Marshall, and he's usually productive when he starts. So, interesting.
Good point. All right, guys, we've gone over our hour. If you're watching on Twitch, our apologies for the technical difficulties to start, but we've been here for a little over an hour. So with that, enjoy the games and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.